Anyway, I mean, I think one of the main thing, one of the like elephant in the room reasons that we wanted to get into this, and I know that you guys are now talking again, as Chris has said,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
of kind of these attacks that have come out, and you've been very vocal about these guys from Delta going on this unnamed podcast and basically calling you a liar, calling Sarah Adams a liar, Chris Oz, all those guys,
Pretty much
Boone.
everybody. I think
Yeah,
I think they've actually got their pee-pee spanked a little bit though. I haven't seen much. I mean, but I'm not on it a bunch.
Well, I
Um,
mean that the douchebag, what's I don't know from that one the main outlet where I initially saw it. Again, I was just up. I saw it on Fox. I was like, what the hell is this about? You know, the lie about Benghazi, about we are lying and
yeah,
stuff.
that the guy who wrote that
Kind of
headline,
led me
yeah,
to it. And again, but I guess he must be butt buddies with all these Delta Force guys and all this stuff because obviously when I started going out, supposedly all these dudes came out. It's like I'm
um,
because I tweeted out their own ethos at them about being being no,
yeah.
pretty much burn down your other brothers and so they all came at me saying, well, you're SF. Should be like, dude, I wasn't FS. If you were smart enough, you'd realize I was quoting it to them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways, they all kind of came out of the woodworks, and then they kind of went at the same time that when because he already had his story, but when the podcast when that following Thursday when that podcast did it, they said this is our final words about this. Immediately after that podcast was over, he did the same thing. So it's kind of like, yeah, okay, guys, but I don't know, maybe it's because I don't know because there's so much the Benghazi report is thousands of pages, and dude, I was
Well,
reading everything.
and people need to realize the Democrats had their own select committee to try to dispute what we were saying, and that's where they were getting the D Boy's testimony, and that's pulled some of it's pulled from a lot of his citation was from the Democratic Benghazi Select Committee run by Adam Schiff, and I don't know if a lot of those Delta guys realize that the stuff they're quoting is actually from the leftist committee that was put in place. And Sarah was on it. That's the thing is Sarah was on that committee until she's like, this committee's bullshit. And she went over to Trey's committee. But that's what was funny to me is I'm looking at this going, all right, you guys are quoting all this verbiage from people that you actually totally don't like. You're the progressive movement that was trying to smash us, and your buddy was one of those focal points on that committee to try to dispute what we were saying, and that was where I found it was funny. But what I wanted to get in, but and if you can talk about it, and I get it if you know it's hard. I'm with you. I still talk about it. I just want I don't want I just want to know what happened. I know what happened from my point of view. I think the best way to do this, if you're willing to talk about, it, is just that time from right before the mortars hit and what you did, because that is the best case that we have this to show these motherfuckers
Yeah.
that hey, this is what happened. And I still have a picture of Oz getting loaded on the plane because I said, yeah, I remember when he got in C-17 and he was got on there before we flew him back to Tripoli. And I was giving him shit. I go, "Hey, motherfucker, stop sandbagging and get up." And he's all his arms about, and he goes like this to me, and he's in the. And I'm gonna post that one of these days, but because they said we weren't on the roof, and I'll do something to
Oh
tie
yeah,
that in.
no.
But can you just right before the mortars hit? Can you go tell and then just tell everybody what you did? Can you talk? Are you okay talking about it, man?
Hmm?
And everybody what you did until they dropped the guys off the roof,
Yeah,
dropped
so
Tyrone and Bub off the roof disrespectfully.
yeah, so I remember. So we're there. We heard the guys. They came in. I was on the Tower 3. Oz, he'd actually left, packed up his stuff, and he was up on the building 3 with Roan and Dave Ubin at the time.
Yep.
And I remember you like going, "Hey, we gonna get any relief?"
Yeah, remember I'd take a shit. I
Yeah.
was calling him. I'm like, guys, I need to take a shit. Can somebody come relieve us? Thank you. All
It's kind
right.
of like I was thinking the same thing. When you sit in those towers, that tower is very uncomfortable. You couldn't like
Yeah.
stand up and you couldn't squat because if you because or sit because if you sat you couldn't see over the damn thing. So
Yeah.
it's just whoever I think it was actually Wyatt that designed those damn things for us. He just screwed but his height was perfect for it.
Well, Doc, yeah, Doc, why I didn't know that, but that makes sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense if Doc White did. Like for those that would
And
know Doc
freaking
White, they'll laugh. They'll laugh. It'll be hilarious. But yeah,
But anyways, so I remember we were just kind of and it's just quiet. It was fairly freaking
yeah,
quiet. And then you heard it. You heard the thump of a mortar.
I did.
You
Yeah.
get on the radio, like I was getting ready to key, say, hey, I think I just heard, but you got on, you asked, and I said, yeah, I heard. And then that's when the first round hit. And then small arms fire opens up. I'm kind of just sitting there trying to watch Zombieland and heard another thump.
Just so everybody knows, you're down on the ground, or you're in building.
I'm
You're
in
in
the
the.
tower still.
You haven't got out of the tower yet. Okay,
I'm
so
still in the
Tower
tower.
Three. If for those that watch the movie, I just want to paint a picture. For those that watch the movie, Tower Three is where Oz and Tig were during the first two attacks on our compound, and so they're over in that corner. Just so everybody knows, I just want people to know this because this is important.
So, well, according to, well, should I wait till to bring up the Delta Force's
Yeah,
testimony?
don't worry about. I just want to know
Okay.
what you
Okay.
did. We don't even know what
So
needed
one,
because
one
they didn't
hit,
do anything.
and then the second one came in and it hit. So the first one hit behind the wall, probably about 25 yards. I'll say west of building 3, about 25 yards north of the wall. So it was fairly close. The second one hit right on top of the wall. Kind of then I heard another one, but from my point of view, I thought they were trying to take out my tower because
Gotcha.
they kept coming from that direction. So that's why I jumped out of the tower and started moving back. Otherwise, I'd have been still in the tower. So when I got towards the gym and I'm trying to pay attention to the sound just in case the tower got hit, my back's kind of this way. I'm kind of trying to listen, see if I hear any gunfire from that way. And then the round hits the top of the roof and everything goes quiet. So I start walking towards the building. I'm not really running it because I still got the tower to worry about in that segment. I know you guys, again, I didn't realize at that for some reason I forgot you actually moved to building
I
one.
building A. I
But
built right at the front. I had the front gate.
I still
Boone
never
was still on B. Yeah.
still had watch over there, but still it's still my section. So I'm not really running. I'm just so I get on the radio and said, "Hey guys, I'm building 3. You all right?" Team leader gets on the radio and says, "No, we're all right in here." And I tell him to shut the hell up.
That was country TL, not douchebag, not
Oh,
our.
I don't know who
Okay.
it was, but I
I'm
thought it was our RTL.
okay.
But anyways, I get on, I tell him to shut the hell up. I'm talking about the guys on building 3, and that's when Jack gets on the radio. I say, "Hey Tig, there's no movement," and that's when I ran. So I ran over there, started going up the ladder. Once I knew I was about to clear the top of the wall, I slowed down, and so I slowly started peeking up over because we're getting attacked from that direction. Once I didn't see anybody coming, I hurried up and skiddied up like a cockroach. So I get shot in the back, jumped over. First guy I saw was Dave Ubin. Got 2 tourniquets on. Well, actually, saw him, looked across the roof, saw people down, get on the radio, and said, "Hey, I got guys down. I need help."
Remember.
Really short, really sweet. Immediately got 2 tourniquets on Dave Ubin. Got on the radio, said the same thing. Moved across the roof. One guy was pretty much in the middle. The other guy was kind of not really in the middle, but more towards the now my directions west wall, and in a fetal position. But then I saw another guy, which is going to be in the Oz. Got on the radio. No, yeah, got on the radio again. Said, "Hey, I got guys down. I need help." That was the third time I asked. Got the tourniquet, put it on Oz, and that's when Boone came on the radio and said, "Hey, if nobody's gonna get up on the roof and help, I'm getting off this damn roof
I
myself." And
remember that. Yeah, I remember that because I remember him here saying, "Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm
that's
sorry."
when whoever, again, I thought it was RTL, got on the radio and said, "Hey, don't no, stay where you are. We're on our way." And my thing always is like, "You're on your way. You should be like, we're coming up."
I don't. Now
No,
keep everybody just keep in mind this has not been 30 seconds. This has now
no,
been
it's been a
between
few minutes.
3 to 5 minutes because I remember getting on the radio and telling Boone to hold when he said that because I said you got better fighting, you got better fields of fire. I'll go, and that's when whoever that TL came across. And that was been like I said close to
Because
five
again, it
minutes.
took me time because it took me. I had to because I had Oz's go bag because my go bag was left in the vehicle over at the consulate. Um, so I had to find 2 tourniquets. So it took me time to find the 2 tourniquets, talking with the guy, put that one on again, and then going over to Oz doing the kind of same thing. So yeah, it took some time. Then I got Oz up and he started walking, and the guy still went up on the roof. That's when I went over to Roan, and rolled him over. During the time when I was looking over Roan is when the first guy actually, I think, came up, which was the Delta Force guy. So he did the pulse check. I felt his throat move, didn't feel a pulse. Lift up his body armor, did look, listen, feel, didn't see or feel anything. So if you don't know look, listen, feel is, I'm putting my ear down towards their mouth, and I'm lifting up their shirt, just trying to look down their belly, trying to feel or hear a breath and see if their stomach moves. Couldn't feel or hear anything, couldn't see anything. Then I did a pupil dilation. There was no dilation. So for me, I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, but usually that means they're dead.
We've been through enough. We've been enough combat lifesaver, first responders crap. Yeah, we know that. Yep.
So I get on the radio and I inform everybody, hey, Roan's gone. It's kind of where I left it.
I
Immediately
remember.
went over to the fourth individual, rolled him over. That ended up being Glenn Doherty or Bub. Did the same thing with him, and pretty much, I remember one, I just thought it was so weird. Like when I was looking over him, all I could hear in the background, "We need to get off the roof. It's too dangerous. We need to get off the roof." I don't know who was saying it,
It
but
wasn't us. It wasn't any
well, I know,
GRS
but
guys.
well, I don't know if it's whoever was like close to, obviously to me. It wasn't on the radio. It was just the
Well,
guy.
it had then it was one of the D boys because those are the only two guys that came up, and yeah, it had to be because there's nobody
No,
nobody else.
the country team leader came up. He
Okay,
did come up because I
okay.
ended up because after that I ended up grabbing everybody's guns and picking up their stuff, and I ended up grabbing his.
Oh no.
Because
I'm
I ended up
talking.
grabbing everybody, so I didn't realize he put his gun down. I didn't know. I just saw loose guns and I picked them up and stuff. So I got down, dumped everything off, and one I thought I grabbed my rifle, but ended up being his rifle. So, anyways, so I went in the back. I actually tried to open up the back door because they're still trying to get Dave Ubin off the roof.
So you'd already come down. You'd come down, and you're off the roof now.
No,
Okay.
Dave Ubin was like, I think he was down already when I came down, and they were waiting for a stretcher. So when I went in to go and get more tourniquets because of the mortars, I actually tried to open the back doors to bring them through the back, so they didn't have to bring him through all the front of the case officers. But I was able to lift it just a little bit, which actually listening to the testimony kind of was in my favor now, but especially with the D-boy guys. Then I started walking back out to go back to Tower 3, and that's when I ran into the two Delta Force guys. Again, I didn't know who the hell. I thought they're just GRS guys from. I didn't know they're Delta Force guys at
Well,
all.
I didn't know either. Yeah, I
And they're like, "Hey, where are you going?" So I'm going back over to Tower 3 to provide, for security. Like, "Oh no, you can't do that. It's too dangerous." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
I know we've been fighting all night. We've been too
I'm
much,
like,
and they're trying to tell us that was
so
what I thought was comical. It's like they're trying to tell us and direct how the fight's going. Like, dude, you guys just you haven't got here for more than 60 minutes. You're trying to tell us what we need to do.
I don't think it's been 20 minutes since they've been there by this
Yeah,
point.
it's it.
So I'm having a yelling match with these two guys because again, I don't know who they are, and I just keep on walking. They actually ran and got the fucking country TL to come tell me to stop. So country TL comes up and says, "No, don't go over there." So I'm where the generator is,
I
and
know.
like provide security here, and I'm looking like, what the fuck does this do?
Yeah.
I guess I'll just wait for the bombs to go off. Maybe a hole come in the wall, be able to shoot through the wall now. I don't know.
I,
So So we're sitting there, and obviously, then we get word that about the big militia coming.
yeah. I remember. I
Um,
remember. I remember.
right?
I remember shitting my pants when I saw him turn to make the corner. I'm like, holy crap! There's no
I
way
think
I'm gonna
this
be able
was
to stop these guys.
I think this is about 7:30 in the morning now. So the
Yeah.
guy's been up there for a few hours.
Uh, thank you. So just so everybody knows, I know the movie cuts real quick, but it had been an hour, 2 hours since we had been mortared. So there was a lot, nothing had been going on, everybody. Just painting
Nothing.
this picture here so
I said,
everybody
"Well,
understands why we were so angry at what and why we are still angry at what's being said. But go
yeah.
ahead, man.
So the two guys again, I'm just thinking they're GRS guys. They come walking up, say, "Hey, come provide security for us. We're gonna get the guys down." So I'm like, okay, we got a tire strap that we use to pull the tire around. We can get that, and we can lower the guys down.
The toe straps. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty, yeah, toe strap. And they're like, "Nah, don't worry about it. We got this." So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking they're going to do the same thing with that they did with Dave Ubin, just kind of build a backpack and get him down. Like, okay. So I go around with them. I start going up the ladder. Like, no, what are you doing? It's like, I'm going to go up provide security for you. Like, no, no, just wait down here.
Yep.
Right.
Guy, everybody keep in mind we've got 8 foot high block walls all around our compound. So there's all he's pulling security on is a piece of stucco.
I think they're higher than 8. I think they're like 10 or 12.
They're taller than me, but I am a short Mexican, so I bet that's
I don't
not
think I can even jump and touch the top.
no.
So, but so I'm just like, again, I'm like, this is about freaking dumb. So I'm facing. So if I'm facing this way, that's where Tower 3 is, and the ladder's like directly right here on my
Mhm.
side. And I'm just like down here, like this is in my mind, like this is freaking stupid. Next thing you know, I'm gonna kind of sitting there out of the corner of my eye, I can see something going on. So I kind of look up, and they put a body on top of the ledge right next to the ladder and push him off.
Yeah,
Uh,
was that Roan or
that
Bub
was
or
that was Bub.
was Bub? Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm
because you said Tyrone was dead by this point, right?
They both are dead.
they were both dead.
These are
Okay.
when they're dropping the
Got
bodies
you. Got
off.
you.
Yeah.
So they pushed him off, and I'm just like, holy shit. So he's kind of smacks. He hits the bushes. You kind of see it slices his
Yeah.
gut open.
I remember.
Like shit doesn't just like flow out, but it was just like holy shit. And I just in my mind, I'm thinking this is going to be even worse. And now I know what's happened to the next guy. The first one was a shock. The second one, you're just like, you're everything's just tuned in now. And I'm like just squatting down, like trying not to just hear it. And they put him up, push him off, and smack, same thing. Um, obviously you're pretty pissed off, but nothing you can do about it now. And I get what people say. They're dead. It doesn't matter. Let's get them off the roof.
Holy
Let's.
crap! No way.
But
Whoever says that can eat a dick.
my
That's
thing is,
wow.
okay, that's fine if we're under fire and we have to get the freaking hell out of there.
Yeah.
We gotta go. We got to Dude, we had plenty of time. We had a militia of 300 freaking dudes coming with gun trucks and all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
We had time to lower these guys off because
And
we still didn't leave for like another 45 minutes.
and like I said, this had been a 2 hour lull that nothing had happened, at
Nothing's going
least.
on.
Do you think, man, they didn't want you to come? They said pull security here just so because that was their plan, and they didn't want you trying to stop them. Because I
Probably.
knew you would have been up the roof. Any one of us, if we would have saw them do it while we were up on the roof, would have stopped it.
Yeah.
Do you think they had their mindset that was intentional? They already thought that, and we're like,
Yep.
we're not, and that's,
I really do. And again,
yeah,
that first one, I was just like, holy, I can't believe it. You're still trying to process it. It's like, holy shit, they just did this. Because like firefighters, a prime example, man. They've never thrown one of their buddies out there. They'll freaking go through hell to get them out of a burning building respectfully. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know, man.
well, we would never have done that. And I'll tell you right now, we would never have done that to one of their guys.
I
No,
mean, I would try to lower them down as best I could, and then kind of, let go, but I'm not just gonna freaking shove them off a roof
yeah.
like that, you
What do you
know.
think? And I have my own feelings, but and I know I've asked you behind closed doors. I mean, even asked you in Germany when you told me this because I remember I was talking about it. But why do you think? Why do you think they did it? And then also, why do you think they're trying to say that it didn't happen, and also say that we were never on the roof, that we didn't do anything? What's your
Yeah,
feeling, man?
I think honestly, maybe they were scared. They just wanted to hurry up and get off the roof because they were just because my thing, I mean, the mortars would have kept coming in. There ain't a damn thing could have done anyways.
No, and they would have kept coming. If they would have gone to mortars, they would have kept just hammering us
Yeah.
until we
I
were
mean,
rubble.
I was surprised the building was even standing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, um, that's the only thing I can think of is just they were just because again, when I was up there with them, they're like, it's too dangerous. We got to get off. We got to get off. I'm like, I mean, again, in my mind, I'm like, dude, if the mortars keep coming, it ain't gonna fucking matter.
Well, and at that point in time, it's like if this is the most dangerous time, all right, guys, we've
Yeah.
been through 8 hours of danger. This is not dangerous. We got Snickers and we got Powerade and lawn chairs. This is actually the most comfortable time that
Yeah.
we've had. And that putting in perspective, guys, it wasn't comfortable. Of course, it was dangerous, but for us, it was, hey man,
But
another hour. Let's get
I
through
mean,
it.
I hate incoming fire. That's like the worst freaking thing ever, dude. In my mind. I
Yeah.
hate it.
Well, you can't do anything. There's no
No,
way to fight it,
no,
and
where
that's
it's coming from, you can't.
yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's
Well, you know, and thank you for talking about it. And I know because that's important. That is, and it's not even a defense. We have nothing to defend. We did
no, I
what
have
we
no
did.
reason to lie.
So but they have everything if they're trying to defend or whatever they're trying, whatever reason they're doing it. But my question then is now, why do you think they're doing it? Why do you think this is coming out now? It's been how many years? And it's coming out from people that we would have stood side by side with,
Yeah.
fighting against against who we were fighting that night.
Well, what really pissed me off about it was them not even trying to reach out and saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, what we heard." No, they automatically came out and said we are lying.
That's what I was going
Yeah,
to
I think
ask
they
you. Did anybody
allegedly
reach?
said they
Oh
reached
shit,
out
and
to
that really
Oz or
pissed me off.
something, or Boone. I'm
No.
sorry.
Boone reached out to them,
Boone
but they
reached out
Yeah,
to
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
they said, "Oh, they actually laughed about it." And then later in their little tweeter thing said, "Oh, you guys tried to reach out and kind of laughed about it." It's
Now,
like,
Boone did
Yeah.
actually. We both
oh,
I
Boone
mean,
Boone
I'll
tried to
give
reach out to him.
I not to answer for you, but because I know it's like, oh, it's an ego thing maybe, but like when you ask why, as a observer, like the interview you did with Sean Ryan was really huge. I think that has something to do with the timing.
but they did
It's the
that
ego.
prior. I looked at the dates.
Oh, they
Uh,
did. It was before. Okay, that's
the
interesting.
podcast was
Oh,
prior
I didn't
to
know that either.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't know
figured it
that.
was after because that's when I saw it.
it was
So,
prior.
oh
So
wow.
because you
So
the
I guess that had
problem
nothing to do with it then, because no one
I
even knew that
know.
was coming
Well,
out.
and me, I agreed with Ian because Ian said that on one of the shows. I'm like, well, I mean, I get that it's an ego thing, but now that, yeah, now I'm more flabbergasted that, and that's a big word for a Ranger, man. You should be impressed I even
But it
used it.
is interesting because it's like Benghazi in terms of headlines. There really hasn't been much other than your interview with Sean Ryan.
One, and that's where coming in with even that, I was just, I just, it wasn't a planned thing. We just, hey, I'm here,
Yeah.
Sean. Sean's a friend. Hey, you want to do it? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd
I
be an
just
ass.
figured that's when they
Yeah.
responded, but I'm wrong.
Well,
I can
they
say I'm
did.
wrong.
So Tig, help us, man. Why?
oh,
Why? What? Just
well,
because
the
saving
article came
face?
out after yours, but the podcast came out before.
So
So
is it so a saving face thing? They feel guilty. I mean,
I
I got
well,
my own opinions, but I want your opinion.
so
They get
I
my opinion
remember
every week.
I initially remember Sarah. She told me because she asked me about what they did one time, and this is like after initially like right after like in 2012, and I said, well, this is kind of what they did, and she goes, oh, well, this is what's going in the report, for them to get an award. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't really care.
We didn't care. We were still working,
Um,
and yeah,
but then I found out just before we went to the ceremony again. Sarah, she knows every freaking thing that's going on in this world, I
yeah.
think. She called me and said, "Hey, just to let you know that the Delta Force guys are telling people that they got Roan and Bub off the roof respectfully." Oh, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like that's bullshit. So then when I went to the award ceremony, they both came up to me again, just very briefly, because they asked me, "Hey, do you remember when we were up on the roof?" Actually, it was kind of like little talk before that, and then like, "Hey, remember when we were up on the roof and all that gunfire was going on?" I go, "There's no gunfire." It's like, "Oh, you don't remember it?" Yeah, I do, because there was none,
The only
and that was
gunfire
kind
they had is I shot twice over their head. That was me, guys. Two shots, and then it just got silent. So I wasn't
but
shooting
again,
at them. So
yeah, but again, that was you're looking at 5 minutes after by the time they got
yeah,
up there.
yeah. That's
They
true.
weren't
That's
even
true.
there.
No.
So I think they're trying to, because again, they told the family what they said, and now one of them is potentially being upgraded to the Medal of Honor, the Army guy, the Master Sergeant, I think is
Yeah.
what it is, or something like that. And I think that's why they're trying to come out, because they're trying to save face to for him to get the medal, even probably the Marine, because they're both there doing the same damn thing. But then, of course, these other guys, they're coming out. Well, you don't know what all they did. Well, actually, we kind of do. They didn't really do a whole lot. Yeah, they got a hold of militia. Again, I read his whole freaking thing, and he even contradicts his own damn medal in his statement to Congress. He says when the mortars came in, they went into the building and waited 2 to 3 minutes after everything was quiet before they came out.
I
That's
think
his own freaking words. His
I
own
think
words.
somebody that we've had. What was it? That guy we had on the show. He wrote the other book about being.
Oh yeah,
He
you
found that
took
out.
Brad Podliska.
Brad Poliski. Yeah, he actually found that contradiction out. He pointed it out on Twitter.
So was
So
he ever up on the roof under fire?
they know. Well, they weren't.
I don't know.
Bottom line, guys, is that I'll put it there. We're asking we're asking a what's the word I'm looking for? A something
Rhetorical
question. A
question.
rhetorical question. There we are. I know flabbergasted, but I don't know rhetorical.
And
We're
then
asking
my
a
other
rhetorical
thing
question.
is, who are all these unarmed civilians that they evacuated?
The ones that we saved that were hiding in the building all night.
And
That's so
nobody was unarmed. Every one of us were armed.
no.
Every police officer has a gun.
Yeah, they did. Everyone had one on their hip,
So
man.
I'm like, so what other civilians did they evacuate?
Well, and we've offered, and I've even offered on this show, and we've offered in other settings. We even offered. I remember when the book and everything was coming, like, hey, you know what? You're right. I have no idea what you guys were doing in the building. tell us. Let us know.
Let us
I'd
know.
love to know what you guys were doing. Maybe you did do something miraculous and you got the militia, which we found out later they didn't.
They didn't.
It was from Henry. Maybe you did bring air support. Well, no, the air support didn't, so it wasn't that. I was like, well, maybe something miraculous you did, or on the CIA side of the house, you did something for them as far as destroying classified documents that warrants an award. Great. But don't come out and say you did this when you didn't do it, but tell us what you did. Maybe there is something in there that is warranted to the second highest medal that may be upgraded
I
to
mean,
the
if you're
Medal of
ordering
Honor.
pizza, at least share it.
I could have used some Domino's, man.
Right?
But well, and that's I wanted to get that here on this show because I don't think there's been a lot, at least recently, that where you've just told this is what happened. I know you've been going back and forth with people, but when I tell guys, just know, hear what Tig did, and then you don't have to go back and forth with Tig. And guys, everybody think that he's saying, I was watching, Boone was watching, we were watching from our rooftop. So everything that he said he did, I am seeing it. So for those that don't believe him, go eat a bag of shit. Because I watched it, and we and I had a heart-to-heart conversation when we got to Germany getting drunk talking about it. And I remember that night very, very much as well.
Yeah.
Um,
So again, for them, again, just reading, again, going through so much stuff. Seeing actually reading what the State Department guys were doing and stuff. I learned a lot because again, I didn't know what they were really doing. But one of the guys was actually in the med room watching the back door, providing security for some reason. And he actually saw them picking up a body from behind the medical door. So if they got their bodies off respectfully, how would one of them be over there by the medical door being lifted off the ground?
well,
Another eyewitness again, totally didn't know that until these douchebags came out and said we're lying.
You know what
well,
this makes me wonder,
yeah,
because I actually have no idea. So I know about the story of how the State Department and the government refused to pay for Glenn Doherty's memorial
yeah.
service. I don't know as much about Ty Woods, but just having Sean Lake and Brandon Webb as mutual friends, I kind of know that whole situation. So did they retrieve the bodies? How were they buried as, because I don't know any of that.
Well,
Because of how the bodies were disposed, I'm wondering, were they able to retrieve the bodies for like a
Yeah,
proper burial?
they were flown back home.
well, and
But
maybe
were they mutilated because of how they were
maybe
thrown off the roof? Or
maybe you go. I can tell you about Roan's because I helped pick Roan up, so I know what Roan's head looked like,
geez.
which
That was from them throwing them off the
from
phone.
him off. Roan's head. I'll tell you guys right. Roan's head was flat. It was I mean, when I saw it, I originally thought it was from the. I was like, did the back of his head get blasted off by a mortar? That's what I thought. And then I was like, no, wait, that was when he hit the ground. And
Mhm.
I remember covering him, and I did. You know, you said a prayer over Bub up on the rooftop. And you don't have to tell whatever, but that's your thing. You've always kept it very private, and I respect that. Um, but I did say a prayer over Roan, and I do remember his head. Just it was gone. It was flat. And it wasn't even gone. That's why it was awful, man. And that was from him hitting the ground when he dropped. And I've said that actually on national TV. I've said that a lot of times. So that's nothing that should be shocking. But yeah, that were they mutilated?
I mean,
Yeah,
they weren't
from hitting,
mutilated.
Just from hitting the ground, Tig.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was from hitting.
they weren't they-
I think it must have been like some small penetration wounds. I think because there was nothing like Oz or Dave Ubin were that I noticed. I mean, I didn't take their pants off or anything like that. I just saw from pretty much the upper. I didn't see any legs blown off, arms blown off. Their faces were fine. But
well, like you said, but Bub, he would split out his. I remember his guts had they hadn't fallen out, but he had that.
yeah. But I'm just saying
It's
initially.
initially, yeah. How we got him home, we put him on a flatbed. We drove him to the airport, and I talked about Sean and Bub's body sitting rigor mortis sitting, and his arm was. I had to
Yeah, I remember
rip
that.
his arm down. That was pretty. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was. Well, I mean, because they just kept looking at it, and I still remember the blonde haired D boy kept looking at it, and I was like, stop. I just was like, stop looking at the arm. And we were in the C-130, and I was like, screw this.
Yeah, I didn't
But
see that 'cause I was facing the pilots. I wasn't
yeah,
facing.
no, I'm sitting right there, and they're there, and I'm here, and he just kept looking at it. I'm like, fine, I'll. It's in my head. I'm like, fine, fuck it, I'll fix it.
Yeah, I remember
And
getting them in the body bag. That was, jeez.
yeah, it was pretty brutal. Well, yeah, when we got and the ceremony, I didn't go to the reward ceremony. I actually wanted to ask you about that. How was that? Tell everybody what the reward ceremony, because
Okay.
and tell everybody what an actual contractor service defense medal and who actually got all those medals that the CIA
You want
gave
me to go
us.
get that? I mean, I
Yeah,
made the
yeah.
placard for it and stuff like that. I can go get it and show it
That'd
to you
be
guys.
Hey
cool.
man, that'd
Yeah,
be
why
cool,
not?
dude.
All right,
If you
because
got
to
it,
me,
yeah.
to me, I think it's kind of it's a worthless medal, but it's good for my kids. But
No,
all right,
go,
give me
go
one
grab it. Go
Yeah,
grab it.
go for it. Go
Heck
for it.
yeah, heck yeah.
This is going well. I think that the audience is going to dig this more than the first episode
Well,
with Tig, because we have video and I mean, look, a lot of these details are obviously kind of brutal, guys, but I also think it's important to get the real
well,
story out there. And
I do. I want Tig people to hear from. I know Tig's point of view. Him and I talk, and I want you to know this is why it angers us. This is why it angered Tig. This is what he did, and it does have mental scars and emotional scars. And then you top it off that you're getting called by liars, not by people on MSNBC. You're getting called liars by people from the community that you served with. To what end? And that's just for ego, for follows, for likes. And again, another rhetorical question, but but that's not how veterans we should
oh,
act at all.
there
Yeah,
we go. You have to put it closer for some reason. Oh, because of that
oh,
screen thing. I
your
think you have to put it in front
screensaver's
of your
jacking
body.
it
I think
up,
you have to
dude.
put it in front of your body, and it won't
Put
do
it in
that.
front of your body because your screensaver's jacking it up. Your
Yeah,
your background is
your
jacking it up.
faces.
I think if you put it in front of your body, we'll see it.
I know. Hold on, hold on.
Okay.
I don't know what
Right
the
now, you're
heck.
just holding the letter I and Tig.
I know, right?
Dude, hey,
I'm just that
Tig,
cool.
do this with your hand, man. Do
Well,
this with your hand.
I'm trying to get rid
There's
of the background.
definitely some comic relief here.
Yeah.
I think you'll be fine if you just put it in front of your body.
All right, let's see.
Let's see.
It looks like you're doing charades. That's what it looks like.
No, now he's
What the hell?
covered
Now
up.
he disappeared. Wow, that's crazy.
I can't see.
This is really funny.
Oh,
You
there it
can't
is.
see anything. You can
Oh,
see that.
there
I
it
can
is,
see
right
I
there.
can see the
Is
logo.
that it?
That's it.
Is that it right there? Is
That's
that the
it.
Yeah,
award?
just the
That's
logo.
that coffee coaster.
It's a
Wow, this
coffee
is so
coaster.
funny.
That's
Zoom
the
gone
award. Yeah,
wrong.
I didn't go to me and Boone are like, nah, fuck you guys. We're not going to the damn
Oh.
award ceremony. Yeah,
Anyone
well,
not watching on YouTube, you got to go over to YouTube just for that part. If you're just listening,
and it's funny because it's right at dick level too.
Right?
It's right there. It's right there.
I was trying to get rid of the background, but I didn't know how. So
I don't
anyway,
either.
Dude,
I don't
I don't
either.
know. So,
Oh.
yeah, what was this? What
was it
was it
John
like?
Brennan? I think was the douchebag director.
He was. And how did I mean?
So
Did you know the cooks and the HVAC guy and everybody else was going to get the same medal when you
no,
got there?
I didn't really know what was going to happen. But I know we went in, we signed it, we signed another NDA prior to
No way. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Mm-mm.
Holy shit! That was
Oh,
what, 4 or 5 since that? Holy crap! I didn't know
so
that.
then I'm sitting next to the cook. I think Jack is sitting here, then Oz, and then they got the cook, and then you got the maintenance guy who
Gotcha. I remember. Yeah.
shot the plane.
Yeah, the HVAC guy, little guy that shot the back of the plane. Yeah, I remember.
And we're sitting there and we get the award, we get the big coaster, and we sit down. And I just remember the cook's looking at he's an army guy.
He
He's
was
looking
cool though. I worked with him in
oh,
In Mosul and in DeHook. He's a cool guy. Yeah,
he's looking at this thing. He goes, "This is so fucking disrespectful. I'm so sorry." That's
that
what
was
he
cool.
said. And
Chef
I guess
was a good dude, man. Chef
it
was
because
solid.
he knew it. Again, it was a smack in the face because I would rather just don't even give an award out. That'd have been the better thing to actually do because now you just, I could have been the cook, could have been the support, could have been the maintenance guy, and you all get the same damn thing as being out, getting shot, getting blown up, rescuing people. But the guys who sit back and make the coffee get the exact same thing.
And not knocking you guys out, but that's the thing is the chef, at least he had the decency to say, "Hey man, I'm sorry," and he's right. He was spot on, right? And he was a good dude. And but when I heard about that,
I said the same thing, but I was sitting next to the cook. They're both just like, this is just wrong.
man, who made
So
that decision? Was that a GRS head shed decision, or was
I
that
think
a?
it was Brendan himself, honestly. I think. Because even when I talked to Wyatt, afterwards and a couple other guys, they're like, man, every one of you should have got the intel, hands down.
Well, yeah,
Again, it wasn't off the award anyways, but that right there was a complete smack in the face.
it was. And we'd already been smacked in the face enough at that point in time too. That's why I was like, hell, fuck you guys. I'm not going. I'm not. There's no way in hell. The State Department award, was that the same time, or did they do something? What was that? What was that? Was that the medal? It's the medal. Actually, it is a pretty prestigious.
It's a true medal.
It is a pretty prestigious award.
You can wear it on your military uniform.
Is it? Tell me. Go through that. How did that? Because me and Jack I never got that either. I never saw it.
I don't think we're going to see it again.
Hillary signed it. I'm going to read it. So
what? She signed it? What the hell? No way.
So it's the award for heroism, but it's for it's what it says, for the heroism displayed by members of the security team under fire and in the face of extreme risk to their personal safety during the deadly attacks against U.S. facilities in Benghazi, Libya on September 11th and September 12th, 2012. The heroic actions of these professionals were selfless, valorous, and representative of the highest standards of bravery in the federal service.
That's actually pretty cool. I would have loved to have had one of those. I think they threw mine in the trash. I never got one.
It was January 2013. I think your name's on it.
Yeah, I remember I came back from Yemen and I told those guys they were effed up. And
so we got uninvited the day before the event. Anyways.
Yeah. Well,
go.
Mine's in the dumpster somewhere as part of recyclable material in a Starbucks coffee cup probably right now. So
thanks for checking out Battle Line Podcast. This is just a smaller clip from our latest episode, which you can check out in its entirety by clicking here. While you're watching, be sure to hit the subscribe button and thumbs up the video to show your support. Now, if you'd really like to help us out, click the thanks button below to make a donation. It goes directly to us in keeping Battle Line Podcast going